And without further ado, we'll pass it to Jessie Vaage, also an arts major.
So hi, I'm Jessie Vaage, and for my senior university honors project, I wanted to create a nonprofit organization, and this is something, or actually, I'll go to the next slide. So just to introduce myself a little bit before we kind of get into the details, but I'm Jessie, and I'm from the high desert. I lived there until coming here in Fullerton for college in 2017. So I'm graduating in 2 weeks and I'm kind of scared, but I'm really excited. I used to be a graphic design major. I started off as that, and then it kind of slowly turned into being an art education major. I thought that kind of fit my style a little more. I do love graphic designing and I definitely use it in my everyday life, but I just thought that I could get some background in education as well because that's something I'm also interested in. And then as you can see, I have my own website, portfolio, shop kind of thing right there if you guys want to check it out at any point. And some other hobbies, I like skateboarding, photography, adventuring. And then me and my dad, who should be watching, hi, is we make metal signs. So okay, so now the actual project. So first, we had a lot of research to do. I had to figure out what I wanted to do this project on. It honestly took me a little longer than I thought I wanted it to figure out what I wanted to do, but I'm really glad I did. And I also had to figure out what even is a nonprofit 501c3 organization. I didn't really know the depth of it, honestly. And then I'll talk about the Association of Historic Curators, as well as how I executed the project and what we're going to be doing in the future. So first, I'd like to talk about the research. And so for those of you who maybe haven't chosen their topic yet, this might help you. Just start with something you're passionate about and something that you think will help you later down the line. And I mean, I'm an art education major, and I ended up dealing with nonprofits. So it's very different, but also they have a really big connection, and we'll also talk about that. But nonprofits are mostly made for feeding, healing, sheltering, educating, inspiring, enlightening, all kinds of things. Just people of every gender, every race, age, socioeconomic status, everything like that. And I just think that's amazing. And I would love to be a part of that in the future. I also researched some other fellow art therapy nonprofits because I'll explain again more about that later, but that's something that's in my long-term goals for sure. And then also I wanted to know what it would look like to brand a nonprofit because that's something that I really deal with. A lot of what I do in my personal job, like work life, is branding. And so I wanted to kind of bring that into here and just help it out a little bit. And then also we had to go over the steps of achieving nonprofit status, which as you can see is kind of a little bit. And yeah, so in this, or I also forgot to mention, sorry, that my mentor is Mariana Pomonis, and she's also watching, she's here. Hello, thank you for coming, and I really appreciate you. She's helping me so much with this project, and she was really helpful and really willing to help me out with this from the get-go, so I really appreciate that. And I'll just move on. So there are over, or actually I'll come back to this. Nope, my bad. Okay, so there are actually over 1.54 million nonprofits in the United States. And while that number seems big, only about 1,300 of them are dedicated to the arts and culture. And while that's really awesome, I feel like we could make that number better. And like I mentioned before, I'm also into art therapy, and that's kind of what I would like the basis of my nonprofit to be later on. And only 749 of the 1.5 million nonprofits are dedicated to art therapy. So kind of one of the things I was saying with this project is that I want to change that number to 750. because I want to create my own later down the line. And this project helped me figure out how to do that. So that's what I've been trying to say. And now we're moving on to the Association of Hysteric Curators and why AHC. And I would just like to say, because they are a group that I was introduced to also by my mentor, Mariana, and I fell in love with the group immediately. It was just something that I totally saw myself being a part of later down the line and even now. And so I was given the opportunity to basically intern with them and attend meetings every week and just like help them change their status to a nonprofit organization. So that is what I was doing here. And AHC was established in 2014. The president is Mariana, and they are an evolving transgenerational group of women, feminist women, who gather to discuss contemporary feminism and the histocracy of the term. And yeah, that was just something that aligned with my values. So I thought that they would be a great fit for my project. And so one of the first things I did for them was help them create a logo. So that's what you can see over here. And that logo I made for them to use for whatever they need. And it's, totally created for them. And then also I was able to make the flyer that you see on the right for the CSUF Teaching and Socially Engaged Artist Series for some of the art and social justice classes this semester. And okay, so we kind of already went over a little bit of this, but I had to, do some soul searching of the group and find out what would best fit their organization and how I could portray their likeness and their goals and missions in a logo even, or just in a form. In a flyer, sorry. And then also, in order to achieve that nonprofit status, I had to find out all the different forms like we were talking about before. I'll go back to that list to show you guys, but the bank account, 1023 Easy, EIN, all of those are just different forms for turning into a nonprofit, and I wasn't very aware of that coming into this. But it's interesting to see how much work really goes into something like this. And of course, those forms cost money. And that was kind of another roadblock. And like Dr. Gleaves was saying, with all of the COVID stuff, it was just really a lot. And but we're managing to get through it. We filled out some of the forms, and we're going to continue in the future. And then after this, I'm going to reflect on what happened and what this will mean for the future of the group. So as of right now, we're still in the middle of achieving that 501 status, but we are still going to continue this project after this semester and see it to completion, see that the Association of Hysteric Curators becomes a nonprofit. And in order to do this, Mariana and I have been working on curating. We're going to start curating our exhibition in February of 2021, and it's under the title of My Body, My Truth in Dog and Pony, Washington, or at a place called Dog and Pony in Washington. And hopefully that'll help us generate revenue to finish paying off those forms, complete them, and then get the nonprofit status. And then me in the future, I definitely plan on becoming an actual group member and just continuing with this group and seeing where it goes. And I'll talk a little bit more on the last little thing right there. But yeah, so all in all, I wanted to do this so that I was just aware of the process later down the line, because something I want to do after I graduate at some point is to, like I said, create my own nonprofit. And after doing this project, I know what it takes to do so a little bit, like as far as the technical terms do. So that'll just help me be able to provide resources to youth, adults, anyone who needs it, that would not have likely had that resource otherwise. So, and that is all I have to say. Thank you for paying attention and listening. And this is some of my works cited. So yes, that's pretty much all I've got for you guys.
Thank you so much, Jesse. If you wouldn't mind talking to us a little bit about your art therapy idea. I don't know a whole lot about art therapy, but as a next step to the nonprofit work that you've done, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for asking. I kind of got the idea. Honestly, like I wasn't really introduced to the topic of art therapy until my senior honors project. And wait one moment. I'm so sorry. My dog is gonna start barking. But sorry. Uh, so I discovered art therapy when I first started um, hearing about the project, and I kind of wanted to think what I wanted to do. And I've kind of always really been like a like I don't want to say like attracted, but interested in like the mental health field and everything like that. And so I just wanted to find a way to incorporate it into my project. And so that I think that's kind of what I had started with. Like when I was working with Professor McConnell, like I was like, "Okay, I wanna make a nonprofit," but he was like, "Okay, but, like, what do you need to do first?" And I was like, maybe I should figure out how to make it," and so that's kind of how it snowballed into being something different because it really did start off totally different than it ended up, but, um, I think I like how it ended up, and I think it'll help me in the future, but, yeah, we'll see.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Another question for Jesse. Can you talk more about the My Body, My Truth exhibit? I'm curious
Oh,
what it
yeah.
will be like.
Yeah, totally. So that's let me just pull up something so I can like read a little bit of what we had done. But yeah, that's something I'm working on with Mariana, and it started off we were just trying to find out different ways to like fundraise to be able to pay for those forms. So it's a curation basically to just like to provide to fight the Jeez, sorry, to fight the preserve oh my goodness, to fight to preserve reproductive rights. There we go. Sorry, it's been a long week. And so it's just basically to give anyone who wants to deal with femininity or just, something within themselves or within the community or, the world that they're interested in about and something that can tell a story. So, it's my body, my truth. So it would mostly be focused on, the artist's body. And it could even be in different ways that they perceive their body. It doesn't even have to be a portrait, it could be other things that symbolize them or create that portrait. Because that's what I've learned like throughout a lot of my art classes is that it's not always just straight to the point. It can be whatever. So, yeah, and it's actually going to be the exhibition will be online and in person. I've like helped curate a couple other online exhibitions over um, our time with COVID, and we just decided that that would be another good idea to do for this one as well because it is going to be in Spokane, Washington. So a little far away, but still accessible to everyone. And we're still working out like fine details, but I'm like keep an eye out for that around like January, February kind of thing. So yeah, but thanks for asking. I really appreciate that.
Thanks.
And it'll be open to a lot of artists as well.